I like doing things that makes me feel good. The businesses that we have, naturally, TYE, MQTJ, all these things make me feel because they're making a difference. But they are still businesses, and we still you have to make money in order to continue doing those amazing things that makes us feel good, right? And that's the balance that I really struggle with a lot. And I think outwardly, we all have a face that we put out there, I think anyway. You know, you look at LinkedIn, you look at Instagram, you see all these amazing things happening. But you said something this morning about swans, you know, on the paddling, and then you look regal outwardly and you think everything's going good. But that battling is trying to get that balance of, I need to run a successful business. I remember when I first started, every time people talk about, getting an investor, you have to be able to pitch to an investor. It never really resonated with me because I always felt like I've got to build something to a certain level where it shows profitability, not just the potential for an investor to even look at me. So getting that balance is quite hard. It is quite hard.
And I think that also depends on the industry, because I think that is not necessarily true in the tech industry. If someone's come up with a brilliant idea and they can't even step on the ladder until they've got funding.
Very true.
So I do think it depends on the industry that one decides to enter into as to whether you can get investment or not. The other side, if you like, the dark side of it, is if you get an investor, you're then not your own master quite often.
I'm a control freak.
And yeah, when you've got that wanting to be in control. And then that plays for a negative and a positive as well.
True.
Because years ago I worked with a business, and I worked with them actually for 9 years in the end. We were building up to sell. And initially he was sort of not quite sure whether he wanted to sell the business or not. But I said to him, well, build up to sell anyway, because you can choose not to.
True.
If you don't start building up to sell, and then in 3 years you decide to sell, then you're 3 years behind where you could have been.
That's very true.
So when you build a business in a way that you can sell it or you don't have to, you're then in a position of strength and power and control anyway, rather than getting to a stage where you've been trying to reach and trying to hold on to it and desperately trying to do it all yourself, where you lose it all.
That's right.
Because you've been, now I say, too proud to then let somebody come in.
That's right.
And help, albeit for all the right reasons. And it's that sometimes, and I say this a lot when I'm mentoring people, is that so often our strengths overplayed become a weakness. You know, I could be really helpful to somebody, well, I'm not helpful if they don't want help. I then become a hindrance if I'm desperately trying to help somebody. That's an example.
That's very true.
So
I think it's these kind of conversations that we sat down and we thought, actually, this would be something amazing to do. I call it a rant. I call it, a conversation. I call it having skin in the game. But one thing for sure, whatever we call it, it's real, it's authentic, it's just the truth, it's our truth. And I'm just loving taking this journey with you. Wherever it leads, I haven't got a clue, but I just think it's going to lead somewhere amazing.
Yeah, I think that the beauty is when you've got a special relationship, special relationships can literally appear.
Yeah.
Special relationships can be built over time.
Yeah.
I know quite openly there are a couple of people where I've initially met them and thought, I don't know that they're necessarily my kind of cup of tea.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're the ones that surprise you the most, that come through at the times that you would least expect.
Oh, absolutely. In business, in life, I think we've all experienced this really, is those people that you think are your tribe and you expect them to be there when the beat has hit the fan are not the ones that are there. Then people surprise you, come out of the world, people that you least expect. That shocks me every single time.
Yeah, and I think that's really what made our relationship so special, was this immediate openness, feeling comfortable to be open and talk about things.
Who is this woman? Where the hell is she come from?
Where did you come from? Yeah. And especially it was an event that neither of us were going to go to.
Well, I had to go because I was speaking.
But you didn't want to speak.
I didn't want to speak. Yeah, but it just shows me the power of networking, the power of those moments and those days when you feel like, I really don't fancy it today, I really don't want to. I find that it's those times, those kind of events or situations where I think, I can't be bothered. When I do actually pull my finger out and go, something happens.
Something happens for the positive.
Something happens.
Yeah, and I think that your whole, everything that you encompass is so positive. Like your whole, everything that you're about is positive. And you're...
Not always. Not last week Wednesday, because we meet up every Wednesday. Last week Wednesday, or the one before, I had a complete meltdown. I just think I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. And for me, that was a turning point, because being vulnerable enough to just looking down, so I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. And the next thing I know, lunch appeared. That really got me. And I thought, who is this woman, or where's she come from? But yeah, thank you for coming into my circle, into my life. I love it.
Well, it's been like a magnet, like I say. And I mean, the thing is that people that are genuinely positive, even when they're in those moments like you were, you can't hide the positive still. True. The positive might be muffled, there might be a blanket over it, you know, but inside there is that positivity.
Oh, yeah. I'm annoying in that sense. You couldn't
have done what you've done in the way you've done it without that constant drive. And you know, I mentioned earlier the slight edge, and it's that 1% more every day is better than 50% in one hit and then nothing. It's that going to the gym every day for 10 minutes is better than going once a week. You know, it's that little.
Huge takeaway for me today, and I think that's a huge sort of anchor for today. Really, is that 1% every day, that extra 1% every day. Because what we don't talk about a lot is sometimes even the most positive people, the most successful businesses, the entrepreneurs, you don't want to get out of bed in the morning. You just don't want to do it anymore. There's some days where you think, well, why? I'm tired, I'm done. It's okay to feel that way. But I think more importantly, to come out of it and have a network of people that would help you get out of it.
Yeah, and it's interesting because there are some things that I know I'm a bit of a weirdo, and that I've got a strange mindset, but I don't actually remember exactly how or when I started doing it, but it was from a young age. That I won't get out of bed. So when people talk about getting out the wrong side of bed, I have never got out the wrong side of bed. That to align with that feeling. So I have this inbuilt fast track. So that doesn't mean that I don't sometimes wake up feeling flatter than normal. I mean, I'm supported by being a glass half overflowing as an energy person anyway. But
I like that. Glass, not half full,
no,
half overflowing.
Oh yeah.
Wow, yeah. I like that a lot.
So there's always, that's probably why I always feel like I want to help and give, and again that can be a negative because sometimes I'm trying to help people who have no interest in me helping them at all. But I wake up, and if I am slightly flat, I have this fast track of I won't get out of bed until I'm in the right mindset. I won't get out of bed not feeling positive. I have to be positive the moment I step my foot out of bed.
Wow.
Now, and you can imagine, if I've got an early start and I've got 3 minutes to do that, 1 minute, 3 seconds to do that, something has happened over the years where I can even fast track it. So sometimes you might wake up, it's a Sunday, we don't have to necessarily do anything. I'll go, okay, I'll just sit up a bit, and I've got time to just sort of process and reframe my mindset. Well, that doesn't happen every day. So there are times when I do that, but more often than not, I'm on the go from the moment that I'm up. And so I have this little widget that I've created in my brain.
Oh God, we are kindred spirits, because I'm that annoying person who 5:30 ping open and I'm got my Duracell batteries kick in and I'm raring to go. and I'm usually wake up positive, and you know, and it's rubbing off on my husband as well, waking the kids up and singing "I am alive" and well, which they hate. But there are days that I wake up and I'm just not in that place,
Mm-hmm.
and what I do is fake it till I make it.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest,
Yeah.
and I just think, no, if you try to make it happen, it won't happen.
Well, that's that 1%.
Yeah, particularly with the kids, you try
Mhm.
to, because what I find is, as a woman, as a mother, my mood, my state of mind, rightfully or wrongly, which is annoying sometimes, seems to impact everybody in the house. If I'm in a bad mood, everybody seems to be in a bad mood.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, well, why are you putting pressure on me? Why does it have to depend on me? But I find that at home, I am such a big character that, yeah, when we wake up and go, I am alive and well, and annoy the kids, and they're like, oh my God, find me other parents. They wake up and the engine has started and everybody gets into that mood. So I still fake it till I make it happen.
Yes, I think it's interesting because my family would probably say I'm really quiet in the morning. So it's interesting because that doesn't, the vibrancy doesn't have to be positive, can be quietly positive or vibrantly positive.
No, not for me.
For different individuals. So that's my time when I'm really thinking about what does my, like visualising what my day is going to look like, who it is I'm seeing, what is it that I want for whoever I'm involved with, what do I want us both to get out of this? What am I aiming to try and achieve in that particular day? Yeah, that's where I am in that morning kind of mode. So sometimes I might seem to those around me that I'm more quiet in the morning and a little bit more reserved and, oh, don't speak to mum kind of thing. But that's actually me being positive. That's me taking that positive energy and really sort of framing,
structuring
it and channeling it. Yeah. Because I have so much energy, I feel like I could literally look like an upside down, you know, mental case if I didn't
mine
channel
comes
it.
out outwardly, so that whole mental case thing is just out there.
Yeah.
And it's when I'm in the shower that I'm trying to structure most of my brilliant ideas, thoughts, tasks, to-do lists. When I'm in the shower, just thinking, okay, and like a crazy person, I ask myself questions and I answer myself. I talk to myself quite a lot.
Yeah, so do I.
And it's where that sort of structuring happens. But in terms of opening up my eyes, I wake up with that energy, and even I stop and think to myself, my God, you can be annoying, you know? So the craziness is outwardly there.
Yeah, I have things that I've sometimes, you know, I have all these random things come into my head and I have to really sense check what comes out of my mouth and what doesn't, especially when I'm in a serious environment. You know, I could be in a board meeting and I could something just triggers me and think that I think is actually quite funny that's been said. But it's just not the environment for me to actually disclose it. So sometimes I have I have to hold that comment back. And I think that stems from my father, because he'd always find fun in absolutely everything.
Wow.
That he would often say it. I mean, he was a headmaster, and so most of the time he could channel it in the right direction at the right time.